Hello, this is Dee with Critical Break. How is everybody doing? We all made it past the winter solstice and the full moon and close flyby of a large meteor and what else? A lot, right? So much going on. I wanted to do a stream the other day, but wasn't in the cards, so we'll start off with today. And just pick up where I left off, basically. I'll do a stream sometime soon on my genetics, but I wanted to go and spend some time with my mom and go through the paperwork she's got. I have a feeling, well, the copies will be better than the ones I have. And I want to scan the originals so that I have a better quality copy. And because there's one or two pages that are very hard to read. So I thought it would be interesting if, part of what I'm doing is trying to this journey, basically, that I'm on with this mission. I'm hoping that some of you will follow suit and do some of the things that I'm doing because, well, there's so much involved here, but our genetics are a huge piece of this puzzle. And I know the virus owns the companies that do these DNA tests, but like I've said before, if you've ever been in a hospital, donated blood, anything, if you were born in a hospital, and they have it already. So it's kind of pointless, and you can find out a lot about your history because the one thing that I think is going on here is when I don't know, some people may not be aware of this, but reincarnation is a thing. Think about this. There's children born at a very young age that have memories of their past life. Detailed memories. Detailed. Things there's no way the child could possibly know. And then they start looking into it and come to find out, oh my gosh, this person actually was alive and the details match. So, and when we reincarnate, my guess is we're incarnating in the same family lines. So, yeah, I think our family lines will tell us a lot about who we are. And, I've talked about the genetics a lot of times. Your specific genetics, particularly this MTHFR thing, I think directly tie to which ET race you actually belong to, which is interesting. So, we've come to the revelation that, well, let's put it this way. People with this MTHFR thing, they're guessing approximately 30%, maybe a little more, of the population on the planet has that genetics. That means you're one of me. That means, the revelation that we're Anunnaki, right? We came to that conclusion, done enough digging. Wow, a lot of digging to come to that conclusion. So, yeah. But, the thing that I really want to stress with this journey that I'm going on with all the crazy, wild, paranormal things I have happen. And well, my whole life has been like that since I was born. So a lot of people think that, or they have the impression that I'm newly dabbling somehow with the paranormal. And that's not the case. I've been dealing with that my entire life. So, um, yeah, this isn't something new for me. Uh, the visions, the ETs that I've had contact with, and I'll be talking a little bit about that because I've got a new ET craft that came into the picture recently that I have not had experience with before, so it was the first time, or at least first time that memory lets me, memory permitted anyway. So anyway, I'm gonna check the chat, see how you guys are doing. But I wanted to emphasize that this journey is about our awakening, realizing what we actually are, because people that carry that genetics are extraordinarily gifted and they have abilities. And I'm trying to um, get you all to explore those abilities and start to explore yourself. And, you know, my main objective here, and the reason I'm so honest about everything that happens in and around me, even embarrassing as it is at times, um, is because the truth matters. To me, the truth about the planet, the truth about the ET races, the truth about the virus here on the planet, that, yeah, all that matters so much. I want the truth, and I think all of you do too, even though sometimes the truth is hard to hear. Um, no matter where it leads me, all of this that I'm doing, no matter where it leads me, at least it's the truth. So that's what I'm interested in. Um, Helping you all awaken and realize what you really are, um, and do that inner work because I think it's really important, to really connect with your inner self, your true self, the inner child, the one that nothing was impossible to you, that person. um, and looking in the mirror and realizing and really evaluating yourself and realizing if you all for 1 second saw what I see when I see other people like us, and what I see when I visit with some of you sometimes personally, if you all saw what I see, um, you guys are amazing. That spark, I've talked a lot about the eyes, the windows to the soul. That inner spark that you all have, I see it. Um, and it's absolutely brilliant. And it's so exciting because, yeah, the possibilities are endless with our people. So anyway, I'm gonna check chat, see how everybody's doing. I'm so excited. I always get really excited when I get a chance to see everybody and talk to you guys. And oh, let's see. Hello, Miss Monica. Yeah, my day's going great. I hope yours is too. Miss Seeley, hi, sweetie. Sir, my sky, how you doing? Yeah. There's Anunnaki, there's Pleiadian, and many other races on the planet. But I know the Anunnaki specifically is about 30% of the planet. And if you haven't realized this yet, or it hasn't crossed your mind yet, many of you are hybrids too. So you could have a little of both, or a little of this and a little of that, which is interesting. Super good seeing all of you. Yeah, you're getting downloads. Yeah, I get those occasionally. Those are really interesting. And they're highly accurate too. My daytime downloads that I get, daytime, I guess you can call them visions. Those are spot on. I mean, accurate, very accurate. My nighttime ones are a little crazy sometimes. Sometimes they're very, what do you call it? Oh, the word escapes me. Trying to think of what it is. Symbolic. That's it. That's the word I needed. Symbolic. They're kind of, sometimes they're just symbolic more than anything. So, but sometimes they have little pieces of things that are accurate, but they're more symbolic than they are accurate. But those daytime ones, man, they're spot on. They're amazing. And if you're getting those, you're getting them from somewhere. And then there's the point, who's giving you those downloads? Have you thought about that? Where are they coming from? Yeah. I know where I'm getting mine from. Gabriel and Adonai. I know exactly where mine are coming from. Now, I've gotten some stuff before, telepathy and things that weren't from them. But them specifically is where most of the communication happens with me. So, let's see what else have we got here. Aw, thank you, Miss Monica. That's so sweet of you. Yeah, it's like, I mean, who and what we are is like really important. It's really key to what's going on here on the planet too. Huge. And let's see, Miss Monica, can you astral travel? I definitely can astral travel. As a matter of fact, uh, if I'm really in the right space, I can go astral pretty fast. It depends on how much I've been doing it, and how, because it's a matter of being able to relax fully and really deep breathe, and you suddenly have this feeling that you and your body aren't the same thing anymore, and then you get the black tunnel. And I have, as far as astral traveling to others, the only, I've done that, but I haven't, I, it's kind of like, there's a couple of different things that at play there with me, because I try to respect other people's space. And I haven't had an occasion really where I've talked to somebody and said, hey, let's meet up, that had the ability to astral travel like I do. So most of the ones that I have met up with on the other side would be Gabriel, Adonai, and those like me. Um, it's kind of like when I'm reading people, um, there's a certain point where I stop because it's like cracking somebody's diary. Not cool. Their thoughts, their memories are theirs and not mine. And so I respect that. So I don't crack that diary. Um, I'll read people just enough to tell if I'm getting BS'd or not. Um, Things of that nature. But beyond that, I stop. Now, if there was something really serious going on, um, I may read in a little further with someone, but generally, I, it's a respect thing for other people. So let's see what else. Um, yeah, see, Miss Seeley, you were also told you were an angel. Yeah, see, a lot of us are being told that. Gabriel was the one that was telling me that years ago. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, whatever, just blew it off. It is. It's hard to accept. Yeah, like she says, it's hard to accept honestly. And, the struggles I've been having with that, it's like, is this all bullshit? Am I being psyoped? I've, all these questions, if you're really analyzing things the way you should, you'll have those questions. It's like, and there's days where I still do that. I'll go, this is all bullshit. I'm not taking a code. I'm not looking at codes. I refuse. I'm done. you know, and you just, it's one of those deals when you've had so many experiences like I've had, you can't deny that it's happening. And no matter how much I try to shut it off, it's kind of like I said, once I kind of open that door, now I can't really close that door. Um, I'll try to, and no, I'm not successful. I just get in those moments where I'm just like, you know, can I just crawl in my bed, pull the covers over my head, and forget about all of it? you know? And I mean, we all have those feelings, because people that aren't like us, or even ones that are like us, that just aren't awake at all, the judgmental BS and crap we get from people makes it even harder because I get it from all sides. I get it constantly. And it's one of those things you got to take it with a grain of salt and keep moving forward because, yeah. Um, I sometimes wonder if it's not, uh, some of the programming going on here on the planet, the Mindwipe and everything, just kind of a combination of things that it's trying to keep those of us that are awake from helping others wake. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. And what's interesting is the people that you're around, if you give them tiny, 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 tiny amounts of information, instead, when you tell them everything and blurt it out, sometimes you'll get a good response, other times you won't. Sometimes some people need tiny bits, just show them something small. And they'll go, wow, that's weird. Show them an orb picture or video or some of the beings in the dimensions that are right here on top of us. There's lots of videos of that. I've shown you all pictures that I take trying to help you all see what I see on a daily basis. And so sometimes if you give them little pieces, that you can start to see them awaken slowly. and they'll go into denial. We do it ourselves. I go into denial. It's like, no, I don't want to. Done. I don't want to do this. Um, so we got to try to be as patient as we can. Everybody's awakening, and like the codes were saying, there's like a grand awakening that's going to be happening 2019, and like a real one, like big. I hope that's right because that would be fantastic. We all could use that support, because when you've got people around you, family, friends that think you're full of shit, um, it makes life very difficult for us. So anyway, let's see. The chat jumped on me. I'm trying to catch up here. Um, your nickname was Angel. That's awesome. Oh, your boyfriend called you that. That is awesome. You know, the few times I actually said it out loud, um, I got poo-pooed basically. And then it was used against me. Like, well, I'm not perfect and an angel like you would be some of the comments I would get. And it's like, seriously? They don't realize angels are just like people. They have personalities, they have the same feelings and everything. Yeah. They're less, let's see, they're less prone to emotion or showing emotion. Um, but other than that, they're very, very, very much just like everybody that's incarnate right now. So they have feelings and all that. So yeah, when the numbers confirm, yeah, those codes that I get, they confirm. It's really weird because Gabriel will make sure that the code includes something that happened just that very day or some tidbit of something that helps confirm that the code is the code. Um, like one of the codes said something, the useless cat bed. And I'm like, and I snicker when I'm reading the codes, I'm snickering because some of the stuff that says in there is hilarious because it's his way of verifying. And I bought this little cat bed, and the cat refuses to use it. He's never laid in it. It's a little cheap one. It's like, I don't know, I think I spent $5 on it. And because I wanted him to have his own little thing, because he keeps wanting to jump in boxes if I have a box laying around or something. Um, and I was like, well, he needs a little bed. So I get him this little bed and he refuses to use it. But it was in the code. And it's just like verification that they're communicating with you guys. So yeah. So you caught on to that too. That's really amazing. And yeah, it gets your attention because you start realizing this isn't some BS. You're being contacted and they're trying to talk to you. So, mm. Howdy, Freedom Seeker. It's great to see you. Thanks for being here. Welcome to the chat room. Let's see. See, that's what's interesting is a lot of us have implants or chips. And I'm not entirely sure. I think there's good ones and bad ones. But it's interesting that you mentioned that, Miss Monica. Yeah, the codes blow my mind all the time too. What's really blowing my mind, this is one thing I was going to talk about with the codes, because been getting so many of them. I've really been in a quandary over it because I want to share the codes, but I'm getting so many of them. And the things that are personally being said to me that are in the code, um, there's no way I can give you guys the code numbers and you guys can look over the code so you can see what the information is, but there's no way for you all to know. Like, you wouldn't know about the useless cat bed, you know, without me telling you the code and reading over it with you all. So I'm not sure what to do about that. I'm just totally at a loss. And going through the code sometimes is time consuming, and I'm wondering if I should just do codes and just read them and then verify which ones are specifically talking to me, or if that even matters. I don't know. But I've been getting so many of them, there's just no way to really thoroughly analyze the code, because I would be streaming 24/7 to keep up. So I don't know what to do about that. Uh, yeah, it's a quandary. So right now, for the time being, I'm just going to release the code numbers. Like at the end of the stream, the very end, I'll release the codes from picking up from the last time I released them till now. And yeah, they're, yeah, it is. It's a quandary. Anyway. Okay, so I'm gonna jump into some of the stuff that's been going on. Um, Trying to decide what I should do first. I think, I guess it doesn't matter. I'll do a quick share screen because there was a couple of things in the news that I found interesting. Where you go, I wonder what that's all about. You know what I mean? Those things. So I'll do a share screen of that stuff real quick, and then I'll get to things that have been happening around here and other stuff. Anyway, let me. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yay. So I'll do a share screen real quick, and then we'll do the other stuff. Anyway, off to the races. Okay. The mysterious light in the sky over California. This was during, there was supposed to be a SpaceX launch, and it was commissioned by our government, a satellite, basically collecting data of different types, but it was commissioned by the military. So, yeah. There's been many SpaceX launches that had to be scrubbed at the last second. And, my curiosity is, why is that? What's going on? But this appeared in the sky right after a failed launch on that very SpaceX mission to send that particular satellite up. And yeah, the date happened to be the 19th when this occurred. And, coincidences. I'll just go to the next one. Oh, why is it not loading? Here we go. Okay. This is December 6th. Russia deploys new laser weapon aimed at U.S. allies in response to Trump's nuclear ultimatum. And, you know, Putin has been suggesting on several occasions now that their weapons are superior to anybody else on the planet as far as um, the superpowers here on the planet, as far as governments go. And I have a feeling that he proved that, because there's some things that have been happening recently that lead me to believe that he's proven that he's not joking. And I think this is part of it. Now, they're claiming this was a meteor. No, I don't think so. Not a weird trail like that. No, 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 no. Because a meteor, when it comes in, it leaves a straight line, not this zigzaggy crap. I call BS on this being a meteor. Completely call BS on it. But this happened on the 19th. And interestingly enough, on the 19th, Trump orders rapid withdrawal from Syria. What? You know, went in there supposedly after this ISIS, interesting name that they used for that, right? And all of a sudden, there's this huge reversal, and they're backing out of Afghanistan too. Not as abruptly, but they are. And this sudden rapid withdrawal out of Syria, I think, speaks volumes about what I'm noticing. I mean, coincidence. Same day. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, there's definitely something going on there. And I can tell you this much. The thing about Syria is there is a church in Syria that actually has I forget what it's called, and I should have looked it up prior to the stream. But they have a ancient document book that has the original teachings of Jesus, and it's written by his older brother James, which was a half brother, and rest of the family. Their take, on based on what his brother was saying. These are the teachings. And it's not religious. It's just, yeah, it's just, yeah. It has nothing to do with religion. It just has everything to do with being good people and trying to help people understand. Because he was kind of doing what I'm kind of doing and trying to get people to understand who and what they actually are. And yeah. But the church that book resides in, it's an Orthodox, I forget the name of it. I should look it up. I planned on possibly adding that to a stream, but I just wanted you to know that church is located in Syria that has that particular Bible. And evidently, there's like 300,000 people. It was in the news, I think, yesterday, that are returning home right now in Syria. And when I looked at that church's website, they hadn't posted anything since 2017. So evidently, there's some of the people that had to flee. Um, Hopefully, all the documents are still safe. I'm sure they are. But yeah, I think it's important. I'm glad because these wars that they're having are covering up our past and destroying, and that's on purpose. They don't want you to know your past. They don't want you to know the true history. Um, so when they have these wars over there, like Iraq and Afghanistan, Syria, that whole area, they destroy a lot of the ancient um, artifacts and uh, things that can help us identify uh, and tell the real story, because they want you to believe that this is the only super uh, advanced civilization that's ever been on the planet, and that is an absolute lie. An absolute lie. There's been multiple advanced civilizations on this planet, and they ended sometimes very abruptly. And they don't want you to know that. Because if you know the truth, the BS going on with the governments and stuff would be put to a complete halt. And the lies that are, the doctrine being taught to people, false doctrine, um, would be exposed. And they can't have that, you know. Anyway, I thought that was interesting, the timing of all of this. But the next thing, there's a couple of ads that uh, I noticed recently when I was watching some videos, because I've been doing a little bit of digging on my family line. And I noticed some ads popping up. The first one I saw is this one. An ad it's a YouTube commercial ad that's running on YouTube when you watch videos that are monetized. And it is Israel asking for you to become a member. And to help support the very, very poor Jewish farmers, artisans, families, and etc., and buying things from them. And that's all well and good, but I want you to think about something. Have you seen ads anywhere else for any other country, anywhere like this? And then, just so that you know this information for yourselves, just Google how much does the US give in aid to Israel, and then divide that by the number of people in Israel and get the dollar amount that each person in Israel is receiving from our tax dollars. Just check it out, because I think you're going to raise your eyebrows at the very least. The only country I know of running ads of this nature. The other thing that I noticed is, and this happened today, is there was an ad from, I forget the committee to something about reelect Trump, or I don't know, something, one of his, the big thing that supports him politically, was running an ad asking you to sign a Christmas card to Trump. He's actually running ads, or I don't know if he's personally doing it, but his political team is running ads trying to get people to sign a Christmas card to go to him. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. If people really wanted to send him a Christmas card, they just would, right? This is insane. Running an ad. And evidently, I'm not the only one that picked up on this, because TMZ put this article in, because I was going through videos trying to get that ad to pop up again so I could show you guys the actual ad. And I couldn't get it to do it again. I was like, argh! So I just looked it up real quick to see if anybody else caught on to it. And TMZ did. But yeah, it's so hilarious. It's like, seriously. But yeah, there's a thing where you can actually, if you click on that ad when it's playing in YouTube, you can go sign the Christmas card to Trump. Yeah, it's a thing. I got a good chuckle out of it and thought I would share that with you all, because, the other thing, when I was doing some of the digging on my family lines, I looked at the date that the part of my family that came out of Scotland. I looked at the date. It was 1649, I believe. And I was like, what was happening in Scotland that got them to move from Scotland to the US? Because this was, way before the Civil War. This was before the US was really a country, even. You know, there wasn't a lot here yet. Well, there was a lot here. There was a bunch of people that already lived here. But yeah, on this particular family line thing that I've been looking at, it was 1649. And the big thing there was a lot going on in 1649. But the big thing that happened January 30th of 1649. King Charles I was executed at Whitehall. And then Charles II was made king right after that in February, just a few days later. And that occurred in that time frame. So I'm wondering, I don't know, but I do know 1649 was when that one piece of my family came over from Scotland. So I figured that much out. And I have a funny feeling this has something to do with it. Or likely, anyway. So I'll quit sharing screen now. You can get back at it. Oh, I'm losing light. It's getting darker in here. Let me see if I can fix that a little bit. Make it a little bit brighter. There. That's a little better, right? I hope. I'm hoping you guys check out your family history too. I'm hoping you do this, because it's, like I said earlier in the stream today, I think you'll find out some very fascinating things about your family lines. Hello, Miss Lady. It's good to see you. So, now I'll get on with the weirdness that goes on around me. I am so dehydrated today. I don't know what my deal is. It's like I can't get enough water. Remember, I've talked about our genetics and staying hydrated because we dehydrate really easy. And that's definitely happening with me. Mm. Went through water like crazy. Anyway, since I'm losing light, I use my glasses as much as I hate them. All right. I detest wearing them. I really do. I only put them on when I absolutely have to because they aggravate me. I don't like it. And if I would just do the eye exercises, you know, I wouldn't need them. But I've been very bad and slacking off and not doing that. So, okay. So let's see. I think where I left off on codes was 12, December 13th, 2018. I'm just going to kind of glance over what I wrote because what I've been doing, not only am I writing the codes in my little book here, but I've been writing down things that are going on in here too now. And I've been fluctuating back and forth. Sometimes I just record it, voice record it, and then sometimes I write it down. It just depends on whatever's handier at the time. But let's see. We've got let's see what stands out. Okay, on the 14th at 5:17 a.m. in the morning, I was outside, and I'm not even going to look at this because or read exactly what it says. I'll just describe what happened. I was outside like I usually do right after I get up in the morning. I go outside and look off to the east and just look and see if I can see the stars and all that stuff. And I swear I could hear somebody singing. A man. It was a male voice singing off in the distance, a block or two away, and singing loudly, you know. But it was faint to me because, a distance. And I heard it several times and I'm like, that's kind of weird at 5:17 in the morning. And yeah, I'm not sure what day of the week that was, but yeah. Um let's see what else happened that was weird. And yeah, I heard it several times and I was kind of, looking around. I could tell that it was to the north of me, the person singing. Um, but yeah, it was inside this block area, just directly north. And I couldn't tell if it was coming from kind of northeast a little bit, or then when I stepped out to the edge of the carport, it sounded almost due north or maybe a tiny bit northwest. I don't know. It was weird, but it sounded like singing. Now, it may not have been an actual human, or I don't know. It was odd. That's all I can say. All right, what else was going on? Uh, uh, okay, here's where I had the experience with um, a new ship. This was on the 16th, and that was that a Sunday? Was 16th a Sunday? I don't know. Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Laid down for a nap around 10. uh, had visions of a saucer-shaped ship. Um, at the time, Gabriel and Adonai were both here. I could hear both of them. And I woke briefly around 12:30 p.m. because I laid down for a nap at 10 a.m. Woke up briefly at 12:30 p.m. thinking, I wonder if the people at the church saw them. Then drifted back to sleep. More of the same thing. I also got news that morning that my adopted father was going back into surgery. The saucers, let me describe them. I could draw them, but I'll describe them. They were, let's see, they were very indicative, saucer shaped, the thinner saucer, not the big thick things that sometimes you see pictures of. Let me see if I can find a picture of a so you guys will have a better idea. Okay, I'm going to share screen so you guys can see these two. Where is it? Oh yeah, right here. Here we go. Okay. See how fat that looks? It wasn't fat like that. It was thinner. It was more thin like this, but it didn't look like that. Because after I had that, I started going through pictures of them, trying to find one that looked similar or at least close. And I didn't find anything that looked exactly, but it was two colors. It was a light gold color metal and a metal kind of the color of this right here. It was two-tone. And there was something about those two specific metals being in contact with each other because it was done in layers. Evidently, some sort of reaction between those two metals was going on. I don't know if it was a magnetic thing or what was going on there, but that's the method of locomotion that these craft used. And these two metals were definitely, see, it was thin like that. Were definitely involved in how it operated. See, I just don't see anything that looks like exactly what I saw, but it was definitely two different types of metal. One was more gold, one was more silver. And not gold like a gold ring or something. That it was it was a lighter gold color. A gold metal, but not like jewelry gold. It was a little different, a little lighter color. Wish I could find it or something close. Anyway, it was like in layers. I'd say there was probably on the top side, probably 6 altering layers of those two metals. And the inside of it looked like the outside did. And when they got ready to take off, and I was in the craft, when they got ready to take off, the whole ship you stayed stationary, but the whole ship started spinning revolutions round and around and around really fast, like to where it turned into a total blur and everything around you blurred. It was weird, but that was the way this ship operates. But you are completely stationary, but the entire ship is spinning like super fast, like hyperdrive fast. It was crazy. Mm, yeah, drink coffee. But yeah, it was really odd. I wish I could find something that's kinda, but it was like layers of two different colors of metal. And something about the way those two metals interacted and this ship spun. It was really bizarre. It's my first encounter with this particular type of ship that I recall. Now this is interesting. This is gold, but see how this is more yellowy gold? This was more white gold on the ship, but it was like layers, like, layers. It was weird. We could draw one. I was hoping I'd find something that kind of looked like it, but I'm not seeing anything. But yeah. But I was wondering to myself, I wonder if the people at the uh, church, because they were leaving at 12:30, the church here gets out. And I was thinking to myself, I wonder if they see these ships, you know? Yeah. Nobody said anything, so I'm guessing they didn't see them. So I don't know if it was just, I don't know, very weird. What else? Oh, the codes keep talking. This is something I wanted to bring up. The codes kept talking about resurrection or the dead rising. And it was really interesting because Sir Tony was doing a code video and he was talking about, I've talked about Arcadia. First of all, one of the ships, one of the ones I designed, is named Arcadia. Also, this place, the planet, was supposed to be Arcadia. Arcadia equals utopia, basically. So that's interesting. And when I was first talking about the fact that Arcadia was a name that came out of my subconscious, basically, someone in the chat mentioned there was an Arcadia, Florida. And I was like, oh, that's cool. But Sir Tony had asked the question, is there other Arcadias? And he was doing the code, that particular code, because it was talking about Arcadia. And it was also talking, Nemesis has come up in the codes, and so is Arcadia. Both the ships that I designed have been in the codes. And so I was like, that's weird. And so I typed it in. And sure enough, there is an Arcadia right here in this state I live in, Missouri. It's almost exactly 200 miles due east of me. And what gets even more interesting, these breadcrumbs that I follow, because when I get little weird hints, because the synchronicity and coincidences, you can't look past those when they start getting really crazy like that. And I looked at it, and interestingly enough, there is a TV show that aired on, I think, ABC that is called, and it was filmed in this little tiny town. This town has like 600 residents. It's tiny. They filmed this show named, guess what? Resurrection is the name of the show. And it was filmed in Arcadia, Missouri. What? See what I mean? It's like, okay, mind blown. Anyway, if you look on YouTube, there is a channel that has both. This show ran for 2 seasons, and they have all the episodes. There's one episode that got taken down because of a copyright strike, and I think it's somewhere in season 2. I think season 2, episode 4, or something like that, that won't play, but all the others do. So if you're interested, go check it out, because that show is set in the town of Arcadia. Now what? Just, yeah. But yeah, resurrection and the dead rising and stuff like that's been in the codes too, on top of all that weirdness. So yeah, synchronicities, weirdness. I just want to mention those things because you never know, down the road, if something else is going to be tied to it. So I want to make sure I mention stuff like that. Let's see. I keep getting woke in the middle of the night for codes. That's a thing. I'm like, oh, thanks for waking me up for that. Yay. Be nice to get a full night's sleep. See if I had any other weirdness happen. Oh, yeah, this. Oh, okay. This is another vision that I had during another. I'm having to lay down and take naps because I'm getting woke up in the middle of the night for codes. And then I'm getting woke up again in the morning for a code when I haven't had enough sleep yet. And so I end up having to lay down for a nap. And this one was weird because I was communicating with Gabriel and Adonai. And there's no way for the human voice to duplicate the language we were using. But as I was coming back out, part of what they were telling me is read just the left side of the page. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I've been trying to figure out if that was talking about the codes themselves, because when they told me that, I was worried about the codes. So, and how to handle that because there's so many of them. If any of you have any ideas on what that could have meant, just read the left page or left side of the page. If you guys have any ideas, I'd love to hear them, because I'm like, I was looking at it and I was like, well, maybe they just want me to look at the, when you go down the row, the first letter in each one of those or something. I thought, well, maybe that's what they want. But that, I was kind of looking at it and that didn't really make sense. So I don't know. But the codes have said many times that there's other codes and other information hidden in there. And maybe that's what they were trying to tell me. But they said, just look at the left side. And I'm like, left side? There's no left side. Because it's not like 2 different pages and you got a left side, or 2 columns where you got a left side, So I don't know. If you guys have any ideas or you guys can work that one out, good on you, because I don't know. I'm baffled. Let's see. What else? Oh, what else? Nothing on that page. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, this one was weird. This is on the 18th. Um, I had a weird dream, vision of me traveling with my kids somewhere. Like we were going somewhere for the holidays or something. It was weird. And we were in separate cars. I think there was like 3 cars. I was in one, and my oldest daughter was in another one, and younger daughter was in the other. But we were traveling somewhere, and we ended up stopping at these roadside outhouses. Outhouses, not a gas station with bathrooms or anything like that. These were, it was really weird because it was a dirt road and it was on an incline on a hill, and we were going up, and we parked along the side of the road, and you had to get across this ditch creek running along the side of the road to get to these outhouses. And these outhouses were like perched on the very edge of the kind of bank that had a very steep drop into the creek. Literally, like there was a little tiny path to get to them. And what was weird is, oh, I'm gonna try to describe this. So this creek, somehow there were like pathways on either side of the creek down below where the creek was. And I went down in there, and I got down in there, and it was like a finished, um, like a big giant sewer, finished ceilings and all that. And it led into a building that reminded me of a school of some sort. Um, Definitely gave me the impression of being like a school or a college of some sort. But yeah, the timing of inside of it, of what happened after that, it was really odd because I got in there and I thought, okay, I need to find this auditorium we're supposed to go to. And walked around, found this auditorium. I'm like, okay, that's where this is going to happen. But I need to go to the bathroom because when we stopped, a couple of them got to use the bathroom up there in those little outhouses, and I didn't get to. I, just didn't. So I go in um, to the school. I locate this auditorium. Then I'm trying to locate a bathroom, and there's a bathroom just down the hall to the left. And I'm like, oh, okay, that works. So I get in line outside the door, and I look at the door and it says men's. And I'm like, oh, shoot, I'm in the wrong line. So I said, where's the women's? And this guy that was standing outside the door said, oh, it's right there. And it was just, down the hall, almost straight across from the auditorium, but not quite. Still off to the left a little bit. And so I get in that line. And I'm standing there waiting, and there's people all of a sudden, other girls getting in the line behind me, and just standing there a few seconds, wasn't very long, and all of a sudden 2 guys come out the women's door, and they were aliens, but they were male aliens. And I'm like, what? Why are guys coming out of the women's bathroom? And the gal behind me said, "Oh, it's a unisex bathroom, but different stalls are assigned to the men and women, but it's all one big giant bathroom across there, and the men's door is here and the women's door is here." And but the guys came out the women's. I was like, okay, I'm not going to the bathroom. It was just like, no, I'm just not going. I'm done. Anyway, that was really weird. But I also went in after I went to the bathroom. I was walking down the hall talking to somebody. I don't know if one of the girls had caught up with me or my son. I'm not sure. But I was talking to somebody, and as we were walking down the hallway to go back to the auditorium, we got busy talking about the bathroom and ended up going past the auditorium into what looked like a big gym area. And it reminded me the farmers market here. Uh, on the holidays, they have this big deal um, where they don't do it in their usual place. They hold it in this gym, and a bunch of the local businesses come on top of the regular farmers market people. Anyway, we're all of a sudden in this gym, and it looks like this farmers market thing. And there's this big um, kind of bulletin board thing up, and it had a bunch of little plastic, like Ziploc bags pinned to it. And you were supposed to um, write your name on something or something and put your name inside of one of the little bags. And there's a whole bunch of them on this thing. And I'm like, okay. And I started putting my name in one of them. And then the guy that I buy my eggs from came up to me and he's like, "Here's your eggs." And I'm like, "Oh, thank you." And he walked away, and I hadn't finished doing what I was doing at the board because I think it was like different prizes depended on what you put your name in, which little bag meant different prizes or whatever. I hadn't finished doing that, but it dawned on me, oh my gosh, I didn't pay him for the eggs. So I stepped out from behind the board to give him the money for the eggs. And these people that had gotten behind me, it was a young couple, and they, stepped up to the board, and I hadn't finished yet. And I'm like, oh, crud. Anyway, so I get behind them and wait to go back up to the board again. And I had left, I don't know why I did this, but I left my tokens inside this sack. And I think it was because my hands were full and I just stepped out of line real quick to pay him. And yeah. Anyway, my tokens were inside this bag. And the gal and the guy started shoving a bunch of stuff into the bag, which was burying my little bags of tokens. And I'm like, oh, crap. Anyway, so I'm sitting there I started talking to her. I was like, yeah, I hadn't finished yet. And the stuff you're putting in there is burying my tokens down there. And she's like, oh. Anyway, she walked away and she was one of the vendors. Um, and there was she said, yeah, I made homemade peppermints and I put them in there in that bag. And I'm like, oh, how cool. And I looked down and I saw these star mints in the bag. And I'm like, oh, those are the regular manufactured star mints, the red and white candy cane peppermint star mints. And then I started looking a little bit, kind of moving the bag around, and I saw what looked like layered white, pink, and red. Um, the pastel mints that a lot of times they'll have at weddings, kind of the chalky type mints. Well, they were like that, and they were like stacked. They were probably, probably like that big around as this is. And they were layered and just intricate, amazing, like little stars and stuff. Yeah, it was really cool looking. And I'm like, can I try one of those? And she said, no. And I'm like, no, really? Mm. You know, I wanted to try one. And she started going into how she made them because she was trying to tell me how she made them so that I could make my own. And yeah, just really weird vision, super, super detailed. I can even describe the alien guys that came out of the bathroom perfectly for you if you want to know. But yeah, detailed. And she was telling me how she made these. She said, "Yes, I take the candy and I stretch it, stretch it, stretch it, and then I push it back together with love." And she kept saying that over and over again, stretching it out and pushing it back together with love. And I'm like, what? I was like, this one, yeah. But let's see. Um, yeah, I wrote all this down. And I woke up and she was saying, I stretch them and then push them back together with love. So I'm like, okay. My visions generally are symbolic. So I have a feeling that had something to do with basically the mission. Digging for the truth, stretching everything out, really examining it, and then squash it back together, um, and finding the truth and keeping love in the picture the whole time. It's a balancing act. It's not easy. So yeah, I think that's wow. It's getting dark, dark. What the heck? Let me see if I can fix that a little bit again. I don't know. Let's see. Does that help a little? Kind of looking washed out, but better washed out, I guess. Give me a second. I'm going to turn on another light. Give me 2 seconds. Let's see. Because it is too dark in here. All right. So, okay. Is that better? Can you guys see me better? I hope so. Check the chat real quick. Hope that's better. You guys are talking about your complicated lives too. Yeah, it is complicated. Anyway, let's see. Oh, I had another weird synchronicity. I spend my mornings as much as possible with Miss Tamu in Gina. And her channel is Tamu and Gina Priestess Heart 108, I think is what her channel name is. And I spend as many mornings as possible there. She usually streams somewhere around between 7 and 9 Eastern. Anyway, I was watching her stream on the 18th. She had a stream in midday, which she usually doesn't do. It was at 1:44 p.m., which would be 2:44 Eastern. Anyway, she had a guest on named Brother Tom. Well, what was interesting is this show, Resurrection, that's set in the town of Arcadia, Missouri. Um, The man of faith, the preacher in that show Resurrection, his name's Tom too, just like this guy that she had on the stream, Brother Tom. I'm like, "That's weird." And this guy that was on her stream was talking about raising the dead. He actually said those words. And I'm like, "What?" And I even said something in the chat about it to her to let her know. It's like, "Oh, you're not gonna believe this." But he actually said something about raising the dead when during that stream. I'm like, "Oh, that's just bizarreness." Um, let's see. Uh, what else weird happened? My hand's cramping. Why is my hand cramping? Not cool. Uh, uh, Okay, this just happened yesterday. I went to lay down at 2:11 p.m. for a nap again because I keep getting woke up in the middle of the night. Um, I went and laid down, and I right after I got in bed and just put my head on the pillow. I wasn't asleep yet. Had my eyes closed, but wasn't asleep yet. The I started hearing sounds in the room. Uh, some over by the bedroom door, and some on the opposite side of the bed. And I'm like, "What is that?" And then I heard another sound that sounded like I have some gifts lined up in bags, little gift bags, on my bedroom floor. And it sounded like one of those tipped over. And I'm like, I couldn't figure out how did it get tipped over. And then this kind of stuff happens a lot. Weird sounds going on around. And like I yeah, I hear sounds in my bathroom behind me all the time. There's always somebody in there banging about, and it's not a human. Anyway, I get up and I come around the bed and getting dressed, and I thought to myself, "Oh yeah, one of the bags got knocked over." So I proceeded to turn to pick up whichever bag it was that had gotten knocked over, and none of them were. They were all sitting upright perfectly, nothing tipped over. But I swore that's what I heard, one of those bags tipping over. More paranormal weirdness, right? So, last night I saw a light off in the field over here, um, off to the east, out the patio door. Um, nothing ever came of it or anything, but I just want to make note of it. Uh, then, it was I just glanced over and it was a flash and then it was gone. That was it. Um, and then, oh yeah, I woke up this morning with a song going through my head again. Here we go with the music thing, right? Gabriel, and one of his new fun ways to communicate with me. I have the song Forever Young going through my head. And I think the group that did that song was Erasure. This would be back in the 80s. Um, but yeah, it was going through my head. And I'm trying to figure out what that was all about. I have no idea. Um, done with that. I just wanted to make a couple of quick deals here. Uh, oh, I was talking about reptilians in some recent videos because somebody thought that I was one. I'm not. I'm an Anunnaki. I'm not a reptilian. Uh, I want everybody to keep in mind, because everybody hears the word reptilian and they immediately think it's all the bad guys. Thing is, there's more than one reptilian race. And some of them are good guys, some of them are bad guys. So I want to make that very clear. One thing, excuse me a minute. I drank myself right out of water and now I'm hitting the coffee. But anyway, like take for instance, Fleur Bourne. I don't know if anybody's visited her channel before, but her family's reptilian. Very benevolent, very heart-based, very, they want what's right, just like we do. So do keep in mind, reptilians, not all of them are bad guys. So don't give that a bad rap. So if you do see somebody that actually really is a reptilian, having that negative connotation is really ugly, and people need to get over that. So, but me personally, I'm an Anunnaki. I'm not reptilian. So just FYI for you guys. Also, I made a comment about Michael Lee Hill. He actually has filmed E.T. Craft. I don't know if he's personally had experiences like I do with ETs. Not that I'm aware of. But what happened with him is, because his filming gained a lot of attention, I think what happened with him is the very negative nasties that have been running the planet have embedded themselves with him and misdirected him somehow. Uh, but I don't know what's going on there, because he was saying something about being inky or the Archangel Michael. And one thing I want you guys to know and be aware of, like I've been pointing out all along, we've got multiple gods or self-professed gods in the Bible. And not just the ones in the Bible, there's others outside of that. They're not the only ones. We've got multiple sons of those gods. And based on my observation, all of them claim that they have an Archangel Michael, Gabriel, etc. So are there multiple? It looks that way to me. So just based on what I'm observing and what I'm seeing, there's a good chance there are. And it's like the Pleiadians have their Michael and the Anunnaki have their Michael. And you see what I'm saying? So we need to be careful not to, like I said, I'm about the truth. So the things that I have taken in over the years of research and just finding out that there's multiple people claiming they've got a Michael. I think it's because there are multiple. And it's just like my observations with, I knew with the Jesus story, something was really off and wrong with it. I knew that. And I did a lot of digging trying to figure out what was going on there. And I knew there was at least 2 Jesus characters. At least 2. Now, based on what I've been looking at, there's 3, and there could be, who knows, more. So, talk about confusing everybody. I don't know about you guys, but I'm confused. It's like, really? Wow. So, it's really sad with Michael Lee Hill because he definitely was having experiences, at least filming the craft. I don't know beyond that if he had more than that, where he actually goes on ships and things like I do. Uh, but I think he's been surrounded by, let's put it this way. You look at the big conferences, UFO conferences, MUFON's involved. Don't trust them. Not me. Nope. Just telling the truth. I don't. Um, like I said, everything is infiltrated, including them. And they could say, oh, no, we're not. And I go, BS, you are too. Anybody that thinks their organization has not been infiltrated is fooling themselves. Okay. So I think that infiltration, like with the UFO conferences, I think a lot of those things, there's some real people talking in there, but there's also some that are not. And being able to decipher who's who and who's BSing or not is another story. I've got a good idea because the real experiencers, can I talk? They, very few of them come forward and talk in a conference. Very few. And the ones that do come forward, you never see them at the conferences. They're not invited. So you got to ask yourself, why is that? Because I know several YouTube channels that are true experiencers that aren't on those conferences. And to be honest and frank, if you are a true experiencer, I would stay the hell away from those conferences. Just a tip. But I think that's what's going on with Michael Lee Hill. I think he started out as a very legit situation that has been manipulated by some people that are around him. So I just wanted to clarify my stance on that. And any of you, if you really observe what's going on there and what happened, over the course of time with him, and personal people that he knows personally, what they observed that happened, you will know that what I'm saying is true. Anyway, just wanted to clarify reptilians and Michael Lee Hill. What else? Do I have anything else? Oh, the codes did say, one of the codes said something about the enemies using mirrors. I just want to put it out there so you all are aware of that. One of the codes did say that. It said enemies use mirrors, break them, or something like that. So I don't know if that was a direct thing being told to me or if you all need to know this too, but I think everybody should know that, because that's true. Mirrors can be used for many things, and ETs and interdimensionals. We're not talking about just ETs, but interdimensionals using mirrors. Not just portals, but actual mirrors, because it's I don't know, a type of way for them to portal. Interesting, right? Okay. I'm going to give you guys codes that I've gotten. do keep in mind there's a few I did not write down. Just because I was having my moment of BS, I'm done with this shit. So there's some I did not write down. Well, nah, I don't need that. That's just a loose piece. All right. I'm going to give you guys codes that I've gotten since the last time I gave out codes. Okay. And then I'll look at the chat and you guys can ask questions and stuff. Okay. Picking up on the 13th of December. The last code I gave you guys was 210. Then I received the code 633, 707, 744, and 1113. On the 14th, I received 422, 442, 517, 517. My voice will work. 556, 616, 227, 414, and 733. Like I said, they've been throwing them at me. On the 15th, I got 453, 454. And I was like, really? Right back to back? Seriously? They were serious. 707, 711, 1113 again. And you'll notice that some of these codes are ones I've gotten in the past. They want me to remind me of information that, yeah. Okay, on the 16th, 438, 450, and 909. 216, 258, 715, and 1133 again. I know I've gotten that one before too. On the 17th, I got 432, 616, 619 twice. They do that too. 210, or no, not 210, 1210. And 1150. Then on the 18th, I got 1211 twice, 509, 422, and 422 did not show up on a clock. 422 popped into my head, so that was telepathy. 422. That happens too. Sometimes I get the codes that way. Continuing with the 18th, 621, 934, 1155. 144, 418, 1011. On the 19th, 626, 1013, 1112, 1133, and you'll notice some of these numbers are some that I just recently gotten as well. They're repeats. And 1033 is where I left off. Let's see. On the 19th, 1133 and 1033. Then on the 20th, I got 542, 852, 920, 112, 717, 1113. On the 21st, I got 538, 544, 1117, 1144, 559, and 808. And on the 22nd, I got 500 exactly, 1101, 211, 911, And I've gotten that one before many times, 9/11. 318, 638, or no, stop there. So not 1223. I got 318, 638, 648, and 1011 again. Anyway, those are the codes I've gotten. Now I'm going to check chat and we'll wrap it up. If you guys have any questions or anything, put them in now so I'll be able to, or any comments or anything you want me to read. I'll go through and read the comments afterwards too, but if there's anything specific that, yay, get the glasses off. Woohoo! No questions or anything? Okay. You've gotten the same codes? Yeah, many of the same ones. Yeah. Yeah, it's because, it's like I was telling everybody, when you get codes, like my specific codes, they'll have things that are directed directly at me, and then there'll be things that are directed at you all specifically, certain people, and then the rest of the codes, the things in the codes are for the general public. So yeah. Um, Jesta, it's great to see you. No, I've never spoken to Sir Dante at all. So, to answer your question, um, any other questions or anything? Anyway, so those of you that celebrate Christmas, have a good holiday. Many of us are celebrating the holidays, not the Christmas thing, so to speak, but just the time off and getting to spend time with family. So I do hope you all get a lot of good hugging and enjoying your families and your friends and stuff. I think that's really important. And make sure when you're doing that, project that inner peace and inner child out as much as you can. It'll help them and they won't even realize it. It's kind of one of those thankless things that you do, you know, kind of brighten their day without them realizing it. Or sometimes they do. Anyway, I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic week coming up. I do plan on doing some more about the genetics, my particular family line stuff. And it's interesting because what I'm seeing is I've got people, good side people and bad side people in my line. Um, and my line is all over the place. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting looking into that and figuring out what, you know. But I do hope you guys have a great week and I will scan those. Hopefully, I'll get the better copies. I'll get those scanned and I'll do a video where I just share the PDF so you guys can actually look at the names that are on that from way back, those names. I've also been doing a little investigating a little bit more on my Rosebud Suicide and my Choctaw, because there's Choctaw there too. Not as much as I have Rosebud, but it's there. So, yeah, that's interesting. Anyway, I'll do a stream regarding PDFs so you guys can see that coming up sometime this next week, hopefully. Anyway, take care, and you know how much I love you guys. Like, super, really, it warms my heart just thinking about you guys. Um, out past the stars. You guys know the drill. And back so many times. Yeah. Anyway, have a blast. Have a good time. Don't forget, let your little kids out. Okay? And I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.